I'm back. So Jacqueline Carey actually belongs over here, but the book size is all wrong. So I am so I just put it at the end so it'd fit better. And then I have Clive Cussler, who's an adventure writer. And then up here I have The 13th Scroll and The Truest Power by Rebecca Neeson. And I really truly wish that she would do a trilogy, because the sequel didn't end really. I thought there would be a third one, but I guess there isn't. It's been like 10 years or something. Anyway, so these are really awesome books. And then I have my James Rowland. I used to have more of these guys, but then I moved and I gave them all away, or I sold them or something. And then I went to go read them and I realized I gave them away, so I had to rebuild my collection. Anyway. So Attila's Treasure, and Rheingold are remarkable books. This is like one of my top 10. This guy. It's an awesome book. I can't believe how much I fell in love with it. And then The Laurentian Spy, Emily Guy. It's actually a good book. It's not one of the better ones that I've read, but it really is adventure-y. And The Confidence Game is like one of the more depressing books I've ever read. And The Witch of Cologne is actually quite awesome. And then up here, let's see if I can do this. Dan Brown, of course, because you know Deception Point and Angels and Demons. I'm sure I have another few floating around in this bookshelf. And then of course I have The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Played with Fire, and The Hornet Who Kicked a Hornet's Nest. Again, these are fabulous reads. I can't recommend them highly enough. They're just absolutely fantastic books. Now, this series, The Cashel's Dart and Chosen, they're probably not in order actually right this very instant, but these series is just astounding. The world that she writes about is intense. It's so huge. So many people, I couldn't even keep track of them all. I almost had to write things down. And then these guys, 7 Deadly Wonders, 6 Sacred Stones, Scarecrow, and then the 5 Raised Warriors. Ugh, I can't get in there. These guys are awesome adventure books. Like, awesome. He goes into so much detail. He's thought everything out, the traps and everything. It's like playing a video game, only in book form. He's amazing. Anyway, okay. And then in here, which is really dark. Ugh. Let's see, can I do this? Ugh. Okay. There. Is that better? I think so. So, The Witch of Arlenian. I bought it out of pure egotistical, because my name is Arlene. And I thought that would be really fantastic. And as it turned out, the series was amazing. I loved them. They're about 2 sisters and their adventures thereof. And Fathomless Cave. I thought there was a couple more in here. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, so these guys are amazing. The Cursed Tower. Wow. Anyway. And then up towards the top, if I can get in there, I have Anne Rice. Ugh. I'm about to create an avalanche. There we go. Alright. This is a well-read book. It was one of my ultimate top favorites ever. And I don't know, the poor thing is coming apart. But Queen of the Damned was my favorite out of all of them. Out of all of her books. It was Queen of the Damned that I loved the most. I don't know why. So then, push those guys back. Then I have the Dampier series. The Thieves, Sister of the Dead, Traitor of the Blood, Rebel Fae, and then Child of a Dead God. Those books, like, it's a series, and the series is also astounding. I can't believe how much I loved these books. They were amazing. And then, slide these over. And then over here we have Iris Johansen. Those two books, it's a one, they're standalones, but they kind of connect. Apparently she used to write romance, and then she kind of turned it to adventure. So I think it was a really good change for her, because it was, these books were amazing. They're well written and everything. It was just a fun adventure book. These guys, Preston and Child, I think are one of my favorite authors of all time. All time! They're amazing. Their world, their plots, their twists, it's just astounding. And this guy, Book of the Dead, actually belongs somewhere in here, but it doesn't fit because it's a hardcover. So, hardcover, solid. Anyway, so these guys, once they team up, like standalone, like if it's just Preston or Child, their books are good. But when they're together, they are amazing. And this is the Preston or Pendergast series that I was talking about. These are the ones that I'm addicted to. There's several others that they've written. Gideon, I think, is one of them. And there's a couple others I can't think of right this very instant. I think these guys are part of it. Thunderhead and yeah. Anyway, so Jack Rogan is actually a new kind of author. And The Ocean Dark was a fabulous read. It was like mermaids gone bad. It was it was so much fun. I haven't read The Collective yet, but it sounds amazing. And then the Steve Berry one, the Alexandria Link, was actually another adventure one that I found that captured my imagination, and I ran with it. Moscow Rules was okay. It was a good adventure, but it wasn't as awesome as these guys. And so that's kind of my adventure books. And then down in here you have my... gonna make myself comfy again. Various other ones that don't fit anywhere. So I just kind of put them all into one giant mishmash. This is not... If I put everything the way I wish, I would have another bookcase. But I don't have no room for another bookcase. So anyway. So I love Assassin's Creed. I have played Assassin's Creed, the second one. So, not Brotherhood, but the second one. And it was the most amazing game I've ever played in my life. I mean, it's probably my favorite ever. Mass Effect 2 is also an awesome game. But, we're getting off topic. So, I bought the books in celebration of the game. And actually, they were well written. I was actually amazed for it. I didn't think they were going to be that big when in depth and stuff. But they were. Slide those over. Oh, and then Mary Hoffman, or Alice Hoffman rather, and Practical Magic. This is the book that the movie was based off of. And this is way more complicated than the movie was. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. There's so much other stuff going on that it took a long time to get through, even though it was like just that big. Anyway. And then here, can you see? Let's bring them out. These are my Grant Nailers. So these guys are the creators of the Red Dwarf series. The Red Dwarf, can you see it? There we go. Red Dwarf. And these are their books that the television, I think the books came first. I'm not sure. But again, I love the TV show. It was hysterical, so I bought the books because of that. And then, of course, you guys recognize these guys, don't you? These are the Harry Potter books. Oh my god, so many of them. And they're kind of dark kind of need a flashlight to get in here. So these are, I kind of bought them in a set in the beginning, and then I kind of worked my way, pardon me, into the hardcovers. But I guess they have to be hardcovers, otherwise they would just fall apart. And then this one, I put with Harry Potter, even though they're not even connected. So different. But this is The Sisters Grimm, and it's the first book in a series about two sisters, and their grandmother is kind of like a fairy investigator, and they go into fairy pardon me, fairy tales. So all the tales that the Brothers Grimm ever wrote, and a few others, are actual refugees from another land or something. Anyway, so this is cute. I thought it was an awesome read. And then we move these guys back. And then of course we have the Dune series, which is another fantabulous, awesome, beautiful series. I have never ever read a more in-depth, scary, political book series in my life, but it was beautiful. I fell in love with the movie first, and then I saw the television series, and then I was like, what am I missing? So I had to read the books, and I found out exactly what I was missing. And I only got the very basics. I don't have all of them. To have all of them, I think I would be reading until 2050. Anyway, so Valley of Bones by Michael Gruber. This was a really good read. I liked it. And then, of course, we go into the Thomas Harris. So anything with Hannibal Lecter, this is where it started. This is, again, the characters in his books are really fantastic, and they're really, they pop out in your imagination. They don't hide anywhere. And then we have Blood Eagle by Craig Russell. And I'm always looking for books by this guy. The first one I read was The Brother Grimm, and I fell in love with it. I thought it was a fantastic, scary, horror, adventure, mystery. It was really gruesome. And so all of his books are really gruesome, but there's a point to it. And they're just fantastic. I love these books. And apparently there's another 4 or 5 more out there, or 3 or 4 more out there. So I'm hoping to find them and bring them back. This is my little lantern. Find things in the winter. Anyway. And then here, let's see if I can get them out. There. So, this is a series that my grandmother left me when she passed, which is sad. I miss her. But she left me these awesome books. So, and they were her favorites. So I was like, oh my goodness. So I've read them. And they are amazing. Like, they're little mysteries, and I think they're set in Africa. I think I could be wrong. I've read so many books. Anyway. So I'm trying to keep them in awesome condition so I don't, like, destroy them in her memory. They're beautiful. I miss her. And then Personal Effects. This is the first, let's see. It's called Dark Art, and it's actually the very first book story. It's a different media. It's not just a book, like it is a book, like pages and stuff. But inside, let's see if I can do this. See, inside, there's like clues and phone numbers and emails and pictures and forms. So as you're reading the actual story, you can find all the cards, and you can phone the phone number, and you can, you know, and it's like, it's a really interactive book, and it just fits in the little pouch there. But it has all the little basic things, so that as you're reading the mystery, you can, like, play along with the mystery. I've never seen anything like this. And I thought it was the most interesting thing on the planet. So when I bought it, I was astounded by it. So it's not just a good read, it's a good game, plaything, ARG kind of deal. So, The Dark Art. It's actually really interactive. I never come across a concept like that before, so I thought it was really interesting. As I was reading, I could play along. And then these are my goofball books. Flashman's Lady, he's actually part of a series that were a goof. And this is Space Captain Smith, which is also a goof. And and Jasper Ford, which is another goof. The Big Over Easy. And then, of course, Robert Rankin, the Da Vinci Code. He also wrote Hollow Chocolate Bunnies of the Apocalypse, which I just about died. I've laughed. That was a hysterical look. And then on a more somber note, you have Angela's Ashes and Tis. And it's just kind of chronicles the life of this fellow who lived in, I think it was Ireland, who emigrated and then had to live here. He was kind of stuck. It's sad. Anyway, so these three books, Restoration, Revelation, and Transformation, if you can see it, there you go. These are actually really interesting books. Really awesome world. The world that they live in is insanely detailed. Carol Berg is an actual astounding writer. I really enjoyed her series. She's written so many more other books that I haven't had a chance to get to because I have so many other books that I have to read. I wish there was 3 of me and then I could read 3 times as fast. Anyway. And then of course you have The Clan of the Cave Bear, another well-read top 10 kind of book. Really well read. I have destroyed this book. I almost need another copy. I have it taped together. It's so sad. So, anyway, well read. I enjoyed this book so much. Her world is really well. I'm just really pissed at her because she took 30 years to write one goddamn book. Or, pardon me, that was really mean. It took her a long time, decades in between books 2, 3, and 4. And then The Shelter of Stones came out, and then her last book, I think that came out in the 90s, and her last book just came out recently. So I was really mad at her for not writing faster. Is that bad? And then down here, I have books that don't fit anywhere else except for the bottom shelf because they're ginormous, huge. But there's the Da Vinci Code. I don't know if you can see it in the corner there. And then Echo, Bill Delino. And then The Forest Lady, Miss Babylon. This one is actually a really good book. That one. The Arcanum. And then The Autumn Bridge. And then I have the hardcovers of Cruciel's Chosen and Avatar. And then and then Memnoch the Devil. Oh, I guess you can't see that anymore. So this stack that's all horizontal is all cookbooks. Cookbooks. The joy of baking. Everything. I love to cook. I just need somebody to cook for, because I'm going to get fat. Or I am fat. Anyway. So that's the end of that segment. Hope you're enjoying this.